All right, what is up, everybody? We're back here at the War Room. I'm your host, Keith Corbus, along with my awesome co-host, John Moynihan, aka JMO. And we're back at it. And this time, you know what? We're switching it up a little bit. There's a lot of baseball discussion going around the league. The offseason is certainly heating up, so we've decided to talk with our two writers who have joined the War Room staff. Got our boy Nick and Matt.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. All right, boys. So you guys been writing for us for a little while on the website. We've had consistent viewership, so I appreciate all your hard work so far through the, month or so?
Yeah, month and a half, so.
We've been grinding. Seriously, we have been. And putting in that slow and steady wins the race. We're going to keep building on this. But
this is true.
We are here to talk some baseball. I want to go over something in particular that got posted today, which I think is, I don't even know what to say, to be honest.
It's
MLB
bad.
posted their next 10 World Series predictions. So I'm going to go through them. 2021 is the Dodgers. Okay. 2022 is the Dodgers. 23 is the White Sox. 24 is the Padres. 2025 is the Braves. 26, let's go, Matt, the Mets. 27's the Orioles. 28 again's the Dodgers. 29 is the A's, and the Yankees take 2030. One of the more particular ones I want to point out is the 2022 matchup. They have the Dodgers against the Angels. Does anyone even remotely agree with this list? Anyone go first?
No.
I like 2021 and 2023. I think those are the most realistic ones. I think
I would agree with that.
the White Sox over the Padres is very fair because by then, you have Tatis in his 5th or 6th year. He should be MVP caliber, if not before then. So that's a good prediction. But I don't like, I mean, Yankee bias. I don't like us losing to the Dodgers next year.
Of course.
But the Angels making it in 2022 is bad.
I don't understand it. I think that they're so far away.
The Marlins have a better shot at making the World Series.
The Marlins at least have a direction. The Angels just sit.
Yeah, having the league's best player doesn't actually guarantee you anything.
I also will say I don't disagree 100% with the 2025 projection. I think that at that time the Jays will be ready to rock and roll with Bichette, Vlad, Cavan. I know, again, Yankee fans, but I got to be unbiased as possible here. I do think that the Jays will be ready to win a AL East title in 2025.
I think they're ready in 2021.
You think 2021?
Hey, you take that back.
I know you got 2 Yankee fans on here, but I don't see how the Yankees are getting to the World Series in 2021 right now.
That's fair. We don't have DJ. That's fair.
Not yet.
You don't have anyone right now.
Not yet.
We'll talk about that a little later in the episode.
Well, that's my problem with the 2021 one.
With having the Mets waiting until 2026, I don't know about that. The moves that they've made right now and the rotation that they have, I think they're ready to win now too.
Honestly, I feel like for Mets fans, that'd be a disappointment.
Yeah.
It would be a very
major.
It'd be amazing. Cool.
You make it in Tatis' 7th season in the league with the team.
Once the Mets fans hopped on with Lindor and Carrasco, we can kind of segue into this, obviously. It seems like that ownership is ready to make the jump straight into contention. No such thing as a rebuild for Steve Cohen and the boys. Uncle Stevie, as Matt likes to call him. The trade was good. I thought it was necessary for both sides, I want to say. I think that Cleveland knew they weren't getting back Lindor. Obviously, I think that the fact that they have $37 million in complete payroll going into next year just shows that ownership doesn't want to pay, which is kind of unfair for the fans of that team.
Sell the team.
Yeah, seriously. But I think that Lindor obviously provides that spark plug, that franchise type player for the Mets. I think Carrasco is an excellent addition on top of the loaded rotation at the top. I think that Cleveland got what they needed. I think Rosario, Jimenez, and, the 2 other prospects that they got, I was looking at, I think it was Isaiah Green and Robert Wolf. Yeah.
Josh Wolf.
Those 2 guys,
Josh Wolf, right?
Josh Wolf?
I think it's Josh.
Those 2 guys look like they have decent potential. I think that it was a right move in terms of if they're not going to win it all, might as well just sell and try to get some good pieces.
Yeah, I mean, I was completely shell shocked by it because I had no idea that at 12 o'clock on a weekday that we were going to see Lindor get shipped over to New
For
York
sure.
City. But I personally was disappointed. I was hoping the Mets would give up a little bit more, but giving up Rosario and Jimenez, that's not a bad get, especially since those two are super athletic and Jimenez is a supreme defender. So if you need a shortstop, you put him there, and Rosario's fast enough you can move him around the diamond.
For sure.
Just a little on Ahmed Jimenez, as I watched them the last 4 years, whatever it is. Ahmed right now reminds me of a lot of Javi Baez with less power at the beginning of his career. The guy can really hit the ball. He can really move. He can field when he needs to, but he just swings at every single pitch that's thrown to him.
Like
I
a lot of
think
young guys do.
I think he went the first, I think he went like 200 straight at bats without a walk or something like that. It was ridiculous.
Oh my God.
If he can figure that out, he can become a really, really good player. But that's very, very
Well, I
hard
think
to
that
figure
comes with
out.
time, especially. I mean, like, there's so very few guys in the league that like come up right away. Look at Luis Roberts. The dude swings at every first pitch possible. He doesn't not take a pitch.
The kid went from batting 330 to finishing the season 233.
Right. But it shows that
Horrendous.
I think it's just a maturity and developmental curve that they will learn at the big league level very fast. I expect Luis Robert to have a little bit of a better approach at the plate coming into
Hope so.
this season. Hopefully for my fantasy team as well. That's the case. But I think that Jamin, you can chime in too. I think that Matt, also you as well. They're ready to rock and roll. I mean, the Mets are ready to fight the Braves, hopefully for the NL East. I think they have a chance. I'm gonna say, as of now, I'm gonna say that they're not gonna beat the Braves. I think the Braves are too good of a team. They got Soroka coming back, but I think that the Mets are certainly right next to them.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. Especially the rotation that the Mets have built so far, and the addition of Lindor in the middle of the diamond. You have a lot of young, controllable guys too. And Pete Alonso, Michael Conforto, you're looking at hopefully has another solid year out there in the outfield. I think that the Mets are going to be really good. And going back to your point, Keith, on the Cleveland Indians and their time, I think that they kind of realized once in 2016, the loss to the Cubs, it was like that was their year.
Yeah,
They didn't really have much after that, and it was just like you saw it too with the loss of Kluber. You saw it with Mike Clevenger getting dealt to the Padres, and they kind of just it was their time.
it's just crazy because it seems like they gave up. They had Bauer, Clevenger, Carrasco, and Kluber all in the same rotation together.
It's a superstar team.
That's
That's just
That's
like
so it's frustrating from this point of view. I'm looking at that team. I'm like I'm jealous of the fact that they even had those guys to begin with.
right. Who is it? It's like who else had like a super stacked rotation a few years ago, and they all got traded off.
It's just like
the A's had one of those teams, with Lester, Samardzija, those guys back in 2013.
The Tigers had Scherzer, Verlander, Porcello, all three
And
Cy
Price.
Young Award winners,
and Zimmerman.
Price.
and Zimmerman and Price.
Yeah, that team was
They had
loaded.
4 Cy Young Award winners.
Yeah.
And then you have Miggy coming off of back-to-back MVPs.
Jesus.
That's a stupid roster,
And
they
Victor
just
Martinez.
couldn't. And Victor Martinez.
Sometimes it blows my mind how teams can't find a way to win at all, just based on their rosters. Like some guys, especially like those Tiger teams, right? Remember they had like Prince Fielder, Victor Martinez, Miguel Cabrera, Ian Kinsler. Like
JD
they were
Martinez.
stacked on offense, and then on defense. I mean, pitching. They had freaking Verlander playing at the best baseball of his career. Like,
And they couldn't get it done. The Cubs had the same problem. You get all this talent, you make it to the World Series. I mean, they won, so it paid off. But immediately after that season, you just quick down spiral, and it's just you lose everything.
I think Cubs fans could be understandably disappointed with kind of selling everything off. Like it seems like they're going to do, because Chris Bryant's not going to be a Cub by the start of the season. I don't think so. Does anyone else agree or disagree?
He might be playing in Queens. Who knows? He might be a
True.
Met. Those rumors are swirling.
I mean, if he comes here,
If he comes here,
Brian, if you come here, we will embrace you. Don't worry.
I swear, Matt, I feel like this offseason hasn't never happened in your lifetime, like that you can specifically remember.
it's like, not that I was very aware, but it's kind of similar to the 05-06 when we brought in Delgado and Beltran, and
Right, but
vibes
you're
were just
so
all
young
time
where it's
high.
like,
But it's different than then, because then we said, okay, now we have a 3-4 year window to win, and then we'll go back to losing. But now with Steve Cohen, we say, okay, now we should win and make the playoffs every single year for the rest of my life.
and crazy enough,
Like,
they're still in on Bauer. if
The
Uh,
5-man rotation is gonna be absolutely stupid, dude.
if they get Bauer, dude, they should have the upper hand in the NL East. I think
I
it's
mean,
no
they're I think rock solid is the number 2 team in the National League at the very least.
minimum.
The,
Yeah,
the only team that's better than them is the Dodgers, and they're the Dodgers, so they should be better. But
right. If they get Trevor Bauer, they're going to have Jacob deGrom, Trevor Bauer as a 1-2, and then oh my God, they have Stroman still.
and they have
Stroman.
Cookie.
Roman, Carrasco, Peterson, and Syndergaard. That's 6.
Yeah.
But
So-
Syndergaard's probably out till June.
Yeah,
I mean,
but,
still,
but
I mean, you
still,
get him back,
his talent,
he's probably
his
going to be
talent
good
coming
enough.
back is dirty.
I mean, I can't even imagine Syndergaard being a 4 or 5 in a rotation. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
He's like a 3 for most teams. It's sometimes a 2.
2,
You think it's
even a 1.
I mean, he's a 2 on the Yankees. So
for the Angels, he's a 1.
he's the ace. He'd be the ace right there.
you
For
guys
the
think
Angels,
it-
he's number 1.
you guys think it could be like too many riches for the Mets at one point? Say you get Syndergaard back and you don't have anywhere to put him.
I
They-
think in that
they have room
case,
for
you
him.
just either move Peterson to the bullpen for now, or send him down, or do something with him, because
I
he's the
feel
young
like
guy. He's going to be the odd man out, losing starts probably.
Yeah.
I feel like too many riches kind of like doesn't always happen with baseball because there's like a decent amount of spots to fit people, I guess.
And injuries. There's just so many injuries in
Right.
baseball.
Like with NBA and stuff like that, it's possible, I guess, because there's
Yeah.
only 5 at a time. But I think with like baseball, it there's not really like a ton of like super teams, I guess you could say, where like all free agents decide to like collide together and code to one team,
Until
which
this
I
year.
like. But like you
Until
can see
this
the
year,
guy
yeah.
like what?
Until we
Now
get
it's until
Springer and
this year.
Bauer.
Right, but like
Don't forget JT.
But like, could you imagine
But-
if like JT? I mean, the Mets have James McCann, so they're not going to go after JT. It wouldn't make
Oh,
sense.
platoon the position.
If JT decided to take like
Pinch
100,
runner.
how much you guys think JT goes for realistically?
I don't know, because James McCann didn't really help him.
No,
Because James McCann did not get that. He got paid, but he didn't get paid that much.
Is he
And
a-
JT's going to deserve more than double what James McCann's getting.
Is he like a 5-year, 125, 6-year, 150 type of catcher?
oof. Committing that
He's
many
gonna
years
break
to
the
a
record.
catcher that's. I mean, he's what 30 now.
Yeah.
Let me look at it. Yeah, I think he's 30.
If I mean you're pushing 30. I mean, what Brian McCann signed 5-year 85, and he was
Right.
what 30 at the time, 31.
Oh, yeah.
And that contract did not pan out after 3 years with the Yankees. They shipped him away. Said get out of here.
Yeah.
And JT needs to go to a team that's comfortable playing him at first base after 2 or 3,
JT
4
will be
years.
30 at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, then I don't.
I
I don't
think
think
one
anyone
thing
wants to
with-
commit more than 5.
No,
He's
I,
going to go
and
to
I
the Phillies, I think.
it wouldn't make sense. I think he's going back to Philadelphia.
And like, Phillies or Blue Jays is my guess.
I feel like he's kind of sick of Philly. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I don't know.
Who wouldn't be?
They're very
And
antsy.
Philly's crying poor this offseason, so I don't even know if they're comfortable giving him that kind of money.
Yeah, I think honestly he gets somewhere in the neighborhood of like 4 to 100 and 110.
That's what
I
I was
think-
thinking.
I think the reason why he gets 100 though is because he's a clear cut number 1 catcher.
He easily gets 100. I don't. I just. It's about how much over. And
I
don't know
think
if he
he's
gets
the
more
only
than
catcher in
120.
this league for me personally that I would be comfortable batting 3-4. He can hit in those holes in the lineup, and I think that he's just an excellent catcher defensively and with the pitching staff. Like he does it all. So I think that there's no reason why a team shouldn't give him 100 million. I just
what
think
team's going to do that? There's just not many teams that are willing to do
I
that
think
right
the
now.
Phillies,
Yeah.
Phillies are the Jays. They make sense. You know,
They
I
are
mean, if the
family.
Phillies want to do anything, they need to resign him.
yeah.
That's the one thing they should do if they're going to do anything more than a bullpen guy, because Lord knows they need a bullpen.
They
Right.
need a lot.
It was
But
bad.
I mean,
do
the-
need a
the-
lot.
That's a great first step.
You
The
know
Blue
what?
Jays are tough.
And we can kind of segue into, this is kind of perfect, into the catching discussion as well, because I feel like most of us can also say he's also a top 5 catcher. Wilson Contreras. Top 4, sure.
Top five.
I just threw 5 on there, but sure, you can say 4. I think he also is one of those guys that, you can bat in the upper half of the lineup comfortably, 3, 4, 5. I think, and the Marlins are going after him. And I think, honestly, I really like that move for the Marlins. I like how they're moving into that direction. They have a ton of farm system guys that are like pretty highly rated. I think that if they give up one, I don't think it kills them in the end because they have 2 years of control with Contreras. On top of that, they got some guys already contributing, like Sixto Sanchez. And what do you guys think a potential package would be?
Specifically with the Marlins, or?
Right, yeah, they seem to be the front runners.
Well, Keith, you texted me about this earlier. I think Jorge Alfaro has to go.
I agree.
And I think you mentioned Edward Cabrera as a potential 2.
Yep.
He's good. Everything I've seen about him says that he can be a really good 3 if he hits his potential for the rotation, because that he can throw hard, and if not, he becomes a good bullpen piece because he throws high 90s. If not him, I don't really know who they give up because they have a lot of top prospects that they need to keep. I don't really know if you can trade any of the guys in their top 5 or 6, like a Jazz Chisholm or something.
I don't think they can because that's a part of the core. They did that for a reason from them all.
Yeah.
And they're all around the same age to the point where they're going to come up together.
Right.
They did exactly what you're supposed to do, pretty much. And Jeter knows that. Obviously with JJ Bleday, hopefully going to headline the lineup like he should be. But I think that with a guy like Wilson Contreras already up, putting up numbers hopefully for them, not in 2021, but he's not I guess he's not a guy that puts people in seats per se, but it also kind of shows that the organization is trying to get good now.
Yeah, he's definitely an anchor to the young pitching staff. Absolutely.
Right. I think he helps Sixto Sanchez out with being, in the league. And I think we all agree that dude is going to be freaking insane.
He's going to be very, very good for a long time.
He's got some talent, that kid.
I think he's clear-cut going to be the number 1 starter on that team and one of the best starters in the NL at the minimum within the next few years.
It's interesting just looking at the Marlins farm system, dude. They have a lot of their farm system's deep, but I feel like for the Cubs, they need to get a young projectable arm, like Nick was saying, and then they need to get a position piece or 2.
Well, that's why I mentioned Edward Cabrera, because I think that he's, and I wouldn't say the word expendable, but he's a guy that they can give up, I think, comfortably.
They can afford to trade him.
Right. And I think that helps the Cubs out too, because they do need more arms. And he does have an electric arm.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
He's good. He's
a
pretty
big
talented
boy,
for sure.
He's a big boy, 6'5", 217.
He's what you look for in a starter.
Yeah, and he's going to fill out a little bit more too, because what is he?
Right. What is he, only 22?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a no-brainer if the Marlins do Alfaro, who has years of control, and then I think that's a good piece. I think that's a good trade for them for Contreras for 2 years.
Yeah.
I think if the Cubs are doing a trade with the Marlins, it'll be for more MLB-ready players to have their roster set for 2021. I don't think the Marlins would give up any of their top 10 prospects and Alfaro. I think it would be Alfaro and maybe I don't really know the Marlins roster that well, but maybe like a second baseman or a shortstop they can add in.
What about
that's MLB ready?
What about what's his name? Isan Diaz, right?
Yeah, someone like that.
I think they like Diaz though.
That's what I'm saying though. I think
Well, someone like
Diaz.
Someone who's ready to play in the MLB in 2021. Because I don't even know who's on the Cubs roster for 2021.
It's a lot of
Javi.
After they trade Chris Bryant and Contreras.
And Rizzo's a free agent after the season. So
Chris Bryant will not be a Cub.
No, he's not. I don't think he sees opening day.
Nope, I 100% agree. I don't think he sees opening day, and now that the rumors for Contreras, which we've heard pretty frequently over this offseason, I don't think he makes it opening day either.
So if we all had to put our best guess as to where Contreras and Bryant are going, where would you say?
Contreras, I still think the Marlins are a good option for him. I think it makes sense. I think they need some type of they got Marte. I don't know. Is he a free agent?
He's still with the team.
He's got one more year, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, they got Marte, who's a good bat, but he's not like Contreras type of like 25-year-old young kid, like that's like, has an electric bat even for a catcher. Um, I think Contreras goes to the Marlins, and I think that I don't even know if the Nationals are on KB anymore because I saw Eugenio Suarez as a potential.
That'd be a lower cost option.
A trade target?
Did anyone see that?
Yeah. I mean, the
I
Reds
hadn't
are
actually-
trying to trade every single player on their team, so
Yeah,
it's
they're
very
trying to
I
do
also
it.
don't understand. I mean,
It would
the
make
team-
sense though. Well, it does make sense, dude. Because think about it, you're gonna inevitably lose Trevor Bauer to free agency, and that was your guy. You need to move Sonny Gray in order to get some pieces back. Because if he goes again, I mean, this was one of his better years, I would say, after an absolute mess that it was in the AL. And you have Eugenio Suarez, who came off a 40 home run season, 100 RBI, and he put together like a decent year. It's time.
He's
to
good. He's good. He's a good
Yeah.
fielder.
Suarez
He's not a bad fielder either.
Trading him is weird though, because I mean he's been with the team for like 4 years now, and in 2018 signed an extension to put him through 2025. So like,
well, I think
he'll
it
be
would cost a
33 when
lot.
that contract is up.
I think it would cost a lot to get him, but I think he's available.
And
I
that
think he's
contract is
cheaper than
not
Chris Bryant.
that contract is not huge. I'm looking at it right now. It was 7 years, 66 million. That's really team friendly.
Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, I think he's
I
available.
I didn't
but
even know he was
expensive.
an option.
It seems like he's
So
you
you
do
think
that
not
type
the
of
Nats, Keith?
contract to be the centerpiece in the lineup. Not a guy you ship off.
Yeah, but it's just the Reds are in such a bad spot, dude.
They
Like,
really are. They're in a
See, they
terrible
are,
spot.
but like they have like I mean, they're gonna get the best baseball out of Luis Castillo this season, I believe.
yeah,
If
but
he's
he's the guy
there.
that you build around.
What?
He's the guy that you're building your club around. You're not going to build him around Eugenio Suarez.
No, but I mean, you need some offense to help him out.
Yeah,
I mean,
but you
you
have
guys
Nick
see Trevor Bauer
Castellanos.
this season? The dude
You
got
have-
no offense.
You have Nick Castellanos. He's formidable. Plays in the outfield.
Terrible
Addis
defender, but
Aquino.
I think Joey Votto. Oh boy,
Joey
Should
Votto
call
is going to
it.
be tough.
he needs to hang those cleats up.
Yeah.
he's still got some
Call
years
it
on
a
the
career.
contract.
Yeah, he's got like 2 or 3. I think the Reds are in a bad spot. I mean, Jim, this was one of your first articles, wasn't it? Was talking about Cincinnati,
Yeah.
and I remember reading it, and I'm like, they're really in such a bad spot.
They
You
are.
have obviously they do have prospects. You have Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green, and then Tyler Stevenson. They're hoping can become the catcher of the future.
Definitely.
But like, and Jonathan India could be their third baseman if they ship away Suarez.
Austin
But, like,
Hendricks, their first round pick this year.
Yep, he's their third prospect according to MLB.com. They have Reese Hines, another third baseman prospect, so they have like depth. But like, aside from Lodolo and Green and Hendrick, I'm looking at this and I'm like, they don't really have a future or a present. I don't really know where this team goes.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you trade Luis Castillo then? If you're going to trade everyone
No.
else,
He's been on the block for 2.5 years.
I mean, but they're going to ask for top market value as
Which is
they should.
fair. Yeah.
Get more than
Absolutely.
Snell, I think.
I think they also have
I
enough.
think he gives up more. I think I think at this point you can probably argue that he's a higher on the totem pole than Snell is.
He is.
And if you're going full tank for the Reds, you have really good bullpen arms in Mike Lorenzen and Amir Garrett that's are gonna get attraction.
Ooh, give me Amir
Those
Garrett.
two, those two
Iglesias isn't bad. He's shown that he could play too.
They
Hmm.
traded Iglesias, didn't they?
He's in LA now.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Earlier this
he got
offseason.
traded to.
Yeah.
Yep, he got traded to the Angels.
My bad.
Let me see what that.
Speaking
package
of the
was.
Angels,
it was very
that's,
under the radar.
The Angels is my pick where Contreras will end up. So
Interesting.
it makes
That would
too
be
much
great
sense.
for the
That
Angels,
makes sense
dude.
too.
That'd be
I think
huge.
it makes too much sense for him to go to the Angels.
It makes a lot of sense. It does.
It makes too
And
much
they
sense
have-
for them. The Angels will be like, nah, it's not happening.
I mean, they were about to go all in for James McCann. Why can't they go all in for Contreras, who's arguably the better bet?
Now,
Not even
I
arguably,
wanna,
he is the better bet.
what was I going to kind of segue into? Oh my gosh, I just blanked out, guys. Never mind. I don't know what I was going to segue into that.
Before we move on, since you brought up the Angels, I wanted to ask, what do you think they give up then? Because they're in a different spot than the Marlins.
If it's with the Angels, I think it'll be a prospect heavy trade because
Cannot give up a pitcher.
No, they
Yeah, they
absolutely can't.
Absolutely
I mean, they
not
don't
give up
really.
a pitcher.
I'm looking at their top 30 right now. They don't really have a pitcher to give up. They have Reed Detmers, who they got this year in the first round, but aside from him, it's like
Dude, they
most of
need to go get
their
Bauer.
their top 10 is offense heavy. So
Keith Bauer's there. I don't know if Bauer wants to go there because he's
know.
at the point of his career. It's time to win a World Series.
The
and they're
Angels, I
not
think,
the
really
team
should
that
overpay for Bauer. That's how
Yeah.
badly they need a starter.
if
They
you're
should.
paying Bauer, you're overpaying him.
And they've put in a lot of effort too to get guys. I mean, you saw they were right there with Garrett Cole too.
True.
I
I mean,
wish
and
they
they
got Garrett Cole.
they finally gave him a
300
real
million.
bat they gave Trout a real bat with Rendon. So
Mm.
like they will shell out that money, but
Guys, I
whether or
remember
not
what I
people
was
wanna
going to
go there.
segue into, by the way, and I want to kind of get this in right before we start the rapid fire questions. All right, everybody. No technical delays, but we ran out of Zoom time. I know. I knew this was going to happen. I called it from the start. I was like, we're going to run out of Zoom time because we get super into this, which is perfectly fine. But we are now, let's backtrack. We're on to Contreras to the Angels. And when we were talking during our little break, I brought up an interesting trade package for them. And I think also Matt brought up a good prospect for them. Would be Brandon Marsh is kind of the headline. He's in the top 100. 2016 second round pick for them. His ETA is very soon, 2021. It seems like he can kind of do it all. He's 55 hit grade, 60 runs, 60 field, 50 power, 60 arm, like a guy that definitely the Cubs will look for paired up with our boy Brennan Davis, hopefully coming up in the next few years. And then I also said an interesting guy I want to know if you guys agree with. I was looking at the prospects. He's a third ranked prospect, 2022 ETA, Jordan Adams. This dude can fly. There's just no other way around it. He has an 80 run grade, boys.
I think giving up those two makes a lot of sense if they're also taking home Kyle Hendricks. So like kind of a 2-for-2 deal where the Angels go all in for 2021 and the Cubs shed two big contracts while bringing in two very good prospects.
Now
That's
that you
not
mention that,
something I thought about.
No, me neither. And I like that a lot.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I think that Kyle Hendricks, while not a prototypical ace, I guess you can say, because he doesn't throw over 90 miles an hour, even if that. But he gets it done. There's no way around it.
He'd be the best pitcher on the Angels.
100%. He would, even if he's the number one for. Does anyone know what his contract is yet?
I'm looking at it now. He's under contract through 2023.
That's an easy trade if I was
for how
doing
much?
that.
He signed 4 years, 55 mil before last season.
That's a great deal for them.
12-ish. Bad math. That's really bad math.
It's
13.
Last year he got paid 12. The next 3 years it's 14, and then the last option is a $16 million.
So that's a great option for the Angels to upgrade.
Cheap, yep.
Both. They're upgrading two positions because they didn't really have a catcher last year.
No, and right now their guy is Max Stassi,
who actually had a really good 2020, but if you look at his career, it's a big
60
asterisk.
games.
He played 31 games, so he had the McCann season where he batted 278.
He had like 280, right? Yeah.
278 with 7 home runs in 31 games for the Angels.
I mean, that's likely going to be the best year of his career. So
I think what's interesting about that, Matt, which I kind of like, is that, like I was saying, he's not a prototypical number one, but a career 3.12 ERA just speaks for itself.
And you want to entice Bauer to come? That's a move you make to get Bauer to come.
For sure. If Bauer were to sign with Hendricks already in the rotation, I mean, that's
and they still have Bundy, right?
Mixed with Bundy, who had a really good 2020 campaign. Griff Canning has potential. I know we always talk about Griff. Griff is one of those guys that can lock down a lineup on any given day. He can go 7 scoreless with 8 Ks, or he'll go 3 innings with 85 pitches thrown.
I like it.
But he's a young guy that still has years on his contract that they can slot. Because like right now he's the number. I mean, what would he be, 2 on that team right now?
They still got Heaney.
Oh, Heaney's not that good though.
He's better than Griff right now.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
that's Griff could not be number 3.
They still have Julio Teheran, I think, too.
I mean,
Ohtani's still there, so I mean, I guess we just can't. We got to wait and see with Ohtani.
I'm off the Ohtani bandwagon.
Yeah, I'm with Nick on this one, dude. The way that he came back after Tommy John surgery, it was just an absolute mess, and it just
let him hit.
Yeah,
I think. Yep, I agree. I think you just. I mean, I don't know if we do we DH Otani?
Yeah.
Just
That's
like,
what they've been doing, and
or do
and
we
he can
try to
hit.
put him in the outfield like he
Put him at
has in the
first base when
past?
Pujols retires.
Because like
He
with
didn't hit.
Otani,
He
he's
didn't hit
kind
well
of
this
locked
year,
up.
but he can swing the bat. I mean,
He can hit
this year
dingers.
wasn't good, but his first 2 seasons, he played in a combined 210 games and batted 286 with 40 home runs. I mean,
He's a good hitter,
Big fly.
that's real deal swinging. So
and there's no doubt that he can actually do both. I mean, like you know what I mean? Like when he's on pitching, like he's
Not consistently.
Yeah, but he hasn't been
No.
on pitching in 2 years.
I know, unfortunate, very unfortunate, but
that's the problem.
I think
I
it's a project that failed, and they have to kind of accept that at this point.
I don't
And
think
salvage
I
it
think
before
it
it's too
failed
late.
from definitely like a I'm gonna be a two-way superstar aspect, but I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that I think Otani could be that guy in the lineup that helps him win ball games.
He can. He's
For
I mean,
sure. For sure. You just can't be
the
pitching when you're
280,
up there.
the 285 average. That speaks for itself. So
Imagine if they moved him to like reliever.
That could
he
work.
has. I mean, he has the cannon for it. So
Like think
Oh.
about it, right? They don't let him start. He gets like a relief appearance like maybe twice a week. 1 to 2 innings, and that's it.
It would be. It might be too much though. See, you have to keep your arm ready all week, and you never know when you're being used.
yeah,
Well, what about like if they told him we're like, all right, like if the opportunity presents itself, you're going in today.
It could work, but you might as well just let him focus on hitting.
I think it's
Dude.
partially tough too because I don't think the Angels have ever seen him on the mound after spring training of what was that 2019 where they were like, this isn't going to work after what it was like 7 walks in 3 innings, and they're like, okay, like we're shutting it down. That's
That
it.
wasn't in spring training. I was in a
That's
regular
I
season
mean,
game this year.
he pitched this year for the
He pitched
Angels.
and he pitched 2 starts. They were awful.
Oh, that's
And
right.
not to mention, when he gets hurt on the mound, it takes him out of the lineup because he has to.
It takes
Right.
him out for like a month until he's like ready to swing.
No, I
So
get from the Angels standpoint of trying that out because like he clearly showed obviously when he first came into league that he can do both at a high level. I mean, that's clear. He's one of the few people, I mean, probably ever to be able to like comfortably say that you can do that and be an all-star level bat and all-star level pitching. But like, I mean, again, durability. He just hasn't had it.
The
Yeah.
yips, dude. All of a sudden, he went from throwing 100 down to 90, and
That
granted,
was
90
scary. See,
90
that's what was
can be
scary.
That
When
was
he came
really
back,
bad.
Yeah,
he came back throwing like 92. I'm like, where's
Yeah.
the 98, 100 miles
granted-
an hour?
yeah. Granted, 92, you can be effective. You got to spot up everything. But like for that guy who's been throwing 100 pretty much since he was 18, like what are you gonna do
Right.
now?
You can't throw 92 and expect to throw it down the pipe and just burn people, which is
Yeah,
you can't do that.
I mean,
Everyone's learned that lesson.
his season debut, he faced 6 batters, walked 3, gave up 3 hits, and allowed 5 runs. And I think like 3 of those runs came in after he left the game. He didn't get a single out.
I really want him to succeed though as a pitcher too. I think it'd just be so cool for the game.
yeah. Be dope for
It
baseball.
would be awesome. It's just he might not be the guy.
Maybe not.
I think it's kind of. He's not the guy.
No,
Maybe not.
he could have been, but he is not. I mean, like the
think if the
Rays were trying to do the
Angels-
same thing with Brendan
If the
McKay.
Angels want to win and make the playoffs, he's not the guy this year.
I don't know
Yeah.
about McKay. I think McKay's just better off being a starter.
He showcased no ability to hit the ball in the
Yeah.
minors. So like this is no
college
disrespect.
college pitching is much different. J-Mo, and you could say this too, right? Everybody we've talked to, I'm like, how's the jump? How's the jump? He goes, the jump is unlike anything I've ever seen. Like,
Yeah,
you-
it's the same thing. I mean, you hear it from high school to college, where it's like, yeah, now you're playing against all-state guys. Then you go from college to pros, and guess what? They're all professionals. They've all won at the collegiate level, at the best of the best. So
like in high school, you can get away throwing like against like he could be a 4-year varsity kid, but like
Yeah.
he might go D2 and you probably take him yard. But then once you get to like Division I baseball and like the lower levels of minor leagues, everyone's in the same boat.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody's elite at the game. If you're literally getting paid to play the game, you are better than the
number one.
best. Like
Yeah.
that's how crazy it is.
It
I mean,
turns
he
out
was-
facing Christian Yelich is harder than facing the 9th hitter on UConn.
he was drafted 3 years ago, and in college, I'm looking at this now. He batted in 3 seasons at Louisville. He batted 328, and then
Crazy good.
and he goes to the Cape Cod League when he's 19 and he bats 283, which is also really good. And then you have his minor league career, and he's a career 214 hitter over 175 games, 3 seasons.
Jump.
It's just, and then
It's
he
the
actually,
jump, and they're
he
also. Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say he has some at bats at the major league level. He's 2 for 10, but like he is a better pitcher than he is a hitter. And I think that I hope, even though I don't want to see him succeed in Tampa as a Yankee fan, but I think he's going to have a lot of success if he just focuses solely on pitching.
Makes sense. It does. It adds up. I think that I kind of want to also, now that we have a little bit more time on our hands, kind of segue into, we talked about the Reds kind of being that weird middle ground where I don't think they're going to be horrendous if they keep everybody, but they'll just, and look at JMO, and
Knows what's coming.
and
I
they'll
was
be
hearing
all right.
this,
So we
dude.
have our teams here. Like, at the end of the day, I try to be as unbiased as possible, but me and Nick, we're pretty big Yankee fans. Matt, your team is now coming into contention with the Mets, and we got JMO.
Go Sox, baby. God.
So the Reds are stuck
only
in.
one of us to win a World Series the last 10 years.
True. Very
You
fair.
didn't have to go there. You didn't have to go there.
But I think we see
Fucking Royals.
that according, like remember when I wrote the article, the 6-year thing? I think that Cleveland recognized that their 6-year window is over. That's why they did the trade. I think the Cubs recognize that it's over. The Reds are kind of in that weird period where it might be over, but they might be able to, if they put on a few pieces, they might be able to get in another, like a year or two of another run. The Red Sox are in that kind of weird middle ground where they're probably good enough to win anywhere between 80 to 85 games, but I don't think they have any chance at a contention in terms of going into the playoffs. So JMO, I mean, we've seen Andrew Benintendi, potential trades. We've seen, I mean, no for real rumors, but it seems like everybody's kind of open for a trade per se. And then Jackie Bradley Jr. is also a free agent. So what do you think?
It's brutal, dude. It's brutal to watch. I mean, the one thing that I have to say is like Shai Bloom, who's president of baseball ops, has come out and said the Red Sox are now a small market team. Okay. Well, that doesn't make much sense to me at all.
That's
and then
just
they came
why.
out last week and said Shai Bloom has financial freedom. So you have two polar opposites and you're stuck right in the middle. And where are you going to go? Well, I've written an article about the Andrew Benintendi thing. It's almost done. But I believe you're not going to get anything back for Andrew Benintendi. Teams are going to base it off of our projection back in 2017, where he was a 2020 guy, and he's kind of shown it through 2018 and really dropped off in 2019, and 2020 was an absolute mess. Granted, he was hurt. Okay, whatever. I think that you have enough pieces. If you keep Andrew Benintendi around, you don't have a center fielder at all. You're going to lose out on Jackie Bradley, most likely. If you move Andrew Benintendi to center field, you have Tristan Cassis and Bobby Dahl back. Only one of them can play first base. Move one of them against the wall. I think it can work. You're getting Chris Sale back. You're getting
Sounds so convincing.
You're getting Chris Sale. You're getting Eduardo Rodriguez back. You'd be solid. Jay Groom, I think you got to get him out of the minor leagues, dude. Screw it. We're bringing him up. He's calling up. He's getting him into spring training. He's making the roster. Have him at the 3. Nathan Eovaldi, dude, listen. Hey, you're not cut it to start in the major leagues, okay? You're not. You're just not.
Really going in on Nathan Eovaldi like that? Dude's like a 10-year veteran.
Dude, he's
former Yankee legend.
4 years, $80 million because he made one postseason appearance. Okay, this is some bull. You know what I'm going to say. It's absolute BS. Okay, move him to the bullpen. Now you have an electric arm in the bullpen. You just need 2 guys. Go out there. The reliever market is plentiful.
It's good this year. Kirby Yates, Brad Hand.
Yeah, you can go out there and get 2 guys. I'm only asking for 2. I'm not asking to reconstruct.
Liam Hendricks, the monster contract.
It was a good deal.
Good deal.
And you have Matt Barnes, who's been okay. You have Ryan Brazier, who had a really terrible year, but can be okay. And I think you can shore up the bullpen enough in free agency. You also have an interesting starter in Jake Odorizzi, who's still on the market.
It's a good sign.
I think that it's possible if, he's got hurt, but he's shown what he can do at the major league level. And I think having him as the 3rd starter and having Jay Groom as the 4th and then whoever the heck is the 5th.
So you're saying Jay Groom, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this the other day. The farthest he's gone in a minor league system is short season. Or no, A-ball, excuse me. But barely. Dude has like I think 60 innings on his arm.
Yeah.
You're telling me just send him straight up to the bigs?
Yeah. I don't see why not. At this point, it's like, because he lost a season to Tommy John. Okay, I get it. But the kid's 22, he's 6'6", he can run it up to 100 miles an hour. Like, what do you have to lose? Even put him in the
a valid
bullpen,
point.
dude.
His career.
How?
If he doesn't work out,
Well,
then you lose him.
Dude, the
you
amount
could
of
send him up at the end of the season.
drafting.
but I'm saying, okay, sure. I'm saying you don't start him there at all.
No.
I think you can, dude. I think it's important to get him out of the minor league system because listen. Because the pitching that the Red Sox have drafted over the past several years, the next big guy, every single time I hear the next big guy, I'm just like bullpen piece, 100%.
The Red Sox have shown that they don't.
No. I'm not done yet. I'm not done. I'm going on a rant right now. Okay. Henry Owens.
Right.
Lord, like Jesus Christ, he was the next Clayton Kershaw or some BS, and he barely made it out of AAA. Matt Barnes, again, a bullpen piece, but you took him in the first round out of UConn. Trey Ball, who is now a scientific experiment in A-ball, trying to learn how to hit again because he could hit a little bit in high school. No, it's professional baseball. It is professional baseball. You need to either figure it out in the minor leagues or that's that. And I think that Jay Groom, the longer he stays in the minor leagues, the Red Sox pitching coaches down in the minor leagues somehow find a way to screw it up every single time somewhere along the line. Because I think it's at this point, it's not on the players because you can't miss on everybody. And right now it's a miss on everybody. And I'm going to turn it to the pitching staff and the pitching coaches and being like, somebody needs to lose their job and figure out how to develop pitching.
I think the Red Sox have shown that they
can't develop pitching. Yes, I know.
Yeah, I think that's.
But that's what I'm saying. I think that
they sure can trade for it.
Oh yeah,
right. They can trade for it.
I think it's
the best of them.
I think it's important to get Jay Groom out of that system just so he can have a better coaching experience, and so that you have another young arm that you're gonna, hold on to, and eventually it's.
I think you gotta be careful though.
I also think you want him to spend as much time with Purcell as he possibly can.
That's another point.
And I'm not saying that it's a bad idea to push him through the minor league system this year, but I think it's a really bad idea to just go, okay, dude, here you go. You got 60 innings on your arm. You got, the farthest you've made it to is A-ball. Let's throw you up against, Aaron Judge, and let's see how you do.
Well, even against, you can just put him in the bullpen. That'll limit his usage. It'll put more innings on his arm than it would.
It's like the Wainwright method.
Yeah.
I guess he can. I mean, I'm sure he can get outs right now at the big league level.
That's very much so how the Cardinals develop their pitchers, and it works.
Yeah, and then you can also have an electric arm out of the bullpen, so it helps shore up the bullpen a little bit. Who knows? Maybe you don't even need to go get it. You only need to get one reliever, and you can go assign 2 starters. Corey Kluber's on the market too.
JMO's out here just full.
I'm out here saying that the Red Sox can do it. Do I think they will? No.
I mean,
you don't sound very convinced that they can do it.
No, I don't, because John Henry needs to fill up his yacht every summer, so he can't afford to, not fill up his yacht.
Oh, we're out here calling out people, huh?
I am, dude. This is ridiculous. You don't want to sign Mookie
Wouldn't
Betts.
be me, not my owner.
You're gonna disrespect somebody. It's like, I want 300 million, and he's like, you're getting 220, and Mookie's like, nah. And it's like, I don't think it takes somebody with a big brain to figure out he's the second best player in MLB.
So JMO, in 4 seasons in the minor leagues, he's thrown 66 career innings.
Right, and he lost one to Tommy John.
Right. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. Of course. But I'm saying, like, I don't think that's enough track record, and
you got to get him to AA first.
You got to get him to 100 innings.
Look at Garrett Crochet this season. You saw how that turned out. He's throwing 100 miles.
Blew his elbow out.
He got hurt.
That's true, but
he got hurt.
I don't think the injury is as bad as it seemed. I think he's going to be okay for this season, but he blew his elbow out like an inning into his major league career.
That's fair, but it's okay because Jay Groom
was like, yeah, I guess you're right.
He already had he's on a new elbow. He's fine.
They replaced the ligament already. You can't tear it again.
My question is for you though, right? Like I've talked to you about this countless times.
Yeah, I always get heated about it.
I really no, and I'm not saying it as a go me, whatever, like Yankees, like blah blah blah. I mean it seriously. I think that if they're not gonna get pieces to go all in this year, then just go all out and just trade everybody, go
Well-
get prospects and rebuild back up.
I agree, but it's
Do you think that they're better than, and this is what my question to everybody, they're not better than the Yankees right now.
Nope.
They're not better than the Rays.
Nope.
I don't think they are. Even I think
not
Tyler
confident
Glass
on the
now. I
Rays,
think they
but-
got too many guys. Wander Franco's on his way up.
I don't know. I mean, the loss of Blake Snell, that's pretty big.
Right.
And
But
Charlie Morton.
And
I
Charlie
still
Morton.
think that team is just like so, and like it can be a good way or a bad way, but I think they're so methodical in how they do things. I still think that they are better than the Red Sox.
They are. The Boston is at best the 4th in the division.
Right. And I think
Toronto's better than them
the
too.
Jays are going to have the upper hand in this one too.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
offseason is still young. I just think that Shy Bloom needs to I'm serious. Like if he doesn't make moves soon, he's gonna miss out on his guys. And then
The
at
Red
that
Sox
point,
just go all in, sign like Bauer to like 10 years, like 400 million, and then like
No,
JT Realmuto, 15
not stupid
years.
like that. But I'm saying like if you're looking at it and you're stuck in this middle ground where you need to either go all in or go all out that we've talked about, like you need to make a move ASAP if you're
think it's
going
now.
to go all in. And if you wait 2-3 weeks, we get a month closer to spring training. Now the dominoes are probably starting to fall.
Well, what about this, guys, then? What happens if you trade for Chris Bryant, put him in right field?
No,
Ooh.
I don't think it's worth it because you have Alex Verdugo out there.
Sure, Verdugo's there. But he's shown Bryant can play multiple positions.
That's true.
He can.
He's a first baseman, third base. He could
He
play
can stay
left.
on
What
the
are they
field,
trading?
sure, yeah.
What are they trading? They don't have a stacked farm system to.
Yeah, you
I
can't
don't
really
even think
trade
they have to
Blaze
trade.
Jordan.
I don't think they have to trade for top of the market value guys because he's only on a 1-year deal, and we've shown that teams don't pay up as much as you would think for these type of guys because they're on 1 years.
Yeah, I
Right,
mean,
but his
no,
reputation
But I'm
precedes
saying
him.
from your standpoint, right? It's let's go all in. That's an all in type of move.
I think that there's other moves that
would
can
be.
be made though.
Sure.
But their
like,
hitting
better-
is not the
better-
problem. They got to
no.
bring in a pitcher or two.
Yeah, that are better suited.
Or 7.
or
Yeah,
Or
they
7. They don't
need-
have a rotation or a bullpen.
Yeah, they need an
Bring back
entire
Martin Perez,
bullpen.
you
I
cowards.
think Odorizzi's a good sign for them. He's shown that he can get outs, but like
Yeah, I think so too. And he's a
I
ground
mean, you
ball
have your
guy
number
and
one
help.
ace, regardless of like, I don't know how. I mean, I'm sure he's going to do fine this year. I can't see Chris Sale like absolutely having a terrible season, fresh off
could struggle.
of Tommy John. He's just Chris Sale.
Yeah, and he did like Nick said, he did struggle, but velocity was way down too.
Yeah.
Right,
so you kinda
that's
knew something
important.
was
They,
up.
they
He didn't look like himself before he got hurt.
I
Yeah.
don't think they should. They definitely cannot rush him back. They need to make sure that Velo gets back up to where it was before they even think about putting him in there.
Yeah, but I think I mean at the same time we've seen it talked about too, where it's like teams like, yeah, sure, you get him in what maybe say he's not ready for opening day, right, in March. Say you get him end of April. It's like a free agent signing. And now all of a sudden you're kind of back in it. You have this new rejuvenation of wow, we got our ace back. We have Eduardo
Yeah.
Rodriguez who's shown he can pitch at the big league level as the 2. I'm comfortable putting him as the 2. And then you just need somebody, whether it's a Jake Odorizzi or a Trevor Bauer, who knows? Maybe you bump Eduardo Rodriguez back, or you put Odorizzi behind Eduardo Rodriguez, and now you have a 1-2-3. Hopefully, who knows? Somebody pans out 4
do
or
you know
5.
You know what's kind of interesting about like Sale and Syndergaard, right? That I kind of realized is that, like due to them having Tommy John, they're rehabbing as if like last year for them didn't happen, right?
Hmm.
So like I feel like a lot of pitchers are gonna have to readjust again to throwing all those innings when those guys are preparing to throw all those innings coming up this year.
Yeah.
So it
Nothing
kind
in
of in a
exchange for them.
sense, right? It kind of in a sense like if you're gonna pick like a year to miss per se, it was this coming season, this past
100%.
season, 100%. And that's kind of I don't know. I kind of just thought of that. I don't know why I mentioned it, but I think like that provides kind of somewhat of a positive for Sale coming back.
I actually never thought of it like that, Keith. That was interesting.
And the key thing to think
Big
about with
brain.
this year, you're going back. They want to play 162 games, so you're adding 102 games onto the schedule. The thing that I saw today was that there are teams that are going to go 6-man rotation. I think the Mariners said they were going to do that 100%. Like, do teams transition to that? Because then that completely changes which teams could be contenders and which teams might fall off. Because you can
Sure.
have 1 or 2 guys. Like for the Yankees, for example, you have Garrett Cole's the ace. If you bring back Tanaka, that's two guys,
Severino.
and that's a decent rotation. You bring back Sevy in a 6-man rotation, that's a pretty good 6. We're top three for a 6-man rotation.
You would think that by that point Clark and Devi are in it too.
I would hope so,
I have
but
a question.
like
Devi will be in it.
he should be.
Do you guys think James Paxton goes back to the Yankees?
No.
Not after the velo dip that he had.
That's fair.
I think
He-
that's a
I mean, he
really
was throwing-
important thing to always look for, like in a starter, right? Like velo dip is super. I can't. Man, we're really going all over the place. That's all right. I think that velo dip is super important because now everybody's used to throwing, seeing the ball at 95, 98 miles an hour to the point where if you're throwing slower than that, and you're not used to throwing slower than that, you're going to get clobbered.
I mean, especially with Paxton, like when we first got him before the 2019 season, and then when he was with Seattle, he was slinging 96, 97.
Easily.
And then this year, at first you thought, okay, the busted spring training and summer camp kind of forced guys to have to use the regular season to build their arm up. And you're talking mid-August, late August, and he's still throwing 91, 92, where he's topping out at 94 instead of topping out at 98. And you're almost like confused as to why he's throwing this soft. The same problem happened with Patrick Corbin. Velo completely dropped off the map, and it's like, is it an injury or is it just his body's it's wear and tear on a lefty? Because lefties, it happens to them more than to the righties.
And he isn't a hard thrower to begin with, but like when you see like the 92 that he would throw, go to like 89, 88 consistently, that's concerning.
It was
Especially
like
when you have all that,
velo.
when you're paying all that money for him too.
Yeah, 6 years, 150 something. That's big money.
Yeah.
You
All right,
can't you
boys.
can't have velo dip after 2 years.
I think that we should start fire up some rapid fire questions.
Hit me with it.
I think it's that time. All
sir.
right, boys. So I think I know. I want to say I know Nick's answer, and no, I definitely know Matt's answer to this. Are you guys Chipotle or Qdoba?
Chipotle.
That's not even a question.
Yeah, I knew Matt was Chipotle. I knew Matt was Chipotle.
Sleeper pick though.
Qdoba's
Mose is my
gross.
number 2.
That's fair.
Dude,
Is
Qdoba
Mose-
was
Mose
my
is
number
good.
5.
Jay, I think we should start including Mose in the conversation because there's been multiple occasions where they're like Mose is 2. So it's like it's definitely not a like 2-man race here.
No, I
That's
had
true.
Mose for the first time like a month ago, and it's the chips make it a solid number 2. I think I put it over Qdoba.
I've never had Moe's, dude. There's not one up in Massachusetts.
You gotta come
Eat
down here.
Chipotle, you're good. You're not missing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Just eat Chipotle.
You stick with the true goat, but
All right. I said, we've been on this for about an hour or so. So I hope you guys have something. What's a hot take that you ride with no matter what it is?
You want me to go?
first?
Yeah, why don't you guys go first?
JD Davis will be a top 5 third baseman in baseball by 2023.
Jay,
Goodness. That's a ridiculous hot take.
JD Davis, you heard it here first,
JD
guys.
Davis.
Top 5 third baseman for the Mets by 2023.
Even if he's not with us, he'll be a top 5 third baseman somewhere.
He'll be somewhere, hopefully winning games for the Mets in 2023.
The guy does everything right. He hits
He's
her
a good
contact
player,
right.
though.
He hits
He's
her
really
power
good.
right. He's one of our only clutch hitters. He plays the field great.
Top 5 is
The Astros
That's
blew
definitely
it
hot.
and gave him to us for nothing.
I'm gonna get
And
some
we got
comments
a
from people
great
that
third
are
baseman.
listening. Is this guy?
I
for
mean,
real?
you got to compete with Arenado and Rendon and
Oh, their time's over. It's
Devers,
JD Davis'
baby.
time
Gio
now.
Urshela.
Gio Show.
Oh yeah, the best third baseman in baseball, Gio Urshela, according to
Yeah.
not Mets owner
Uh,
Alex Rodriguez.
So I have 2. There's the obvious one that everyone here knows about, which is that Gary Sanchez is still a viable option at catcher. But I think the one that I just thought about here, Clint Frazier will be a top 5 left fielder in the next 3 years.
I like
Interesting.
that. I think that's a
Interesting
good
take.
one.
He has the bat to do it, and that the defensive strides that he made in 2020, I like him. I'm excited
Top
for him.
10, top 5 is really bold. I
It's
think.
bold.
But Nick, you even know too. I've always been a believer of getting him up in the bigs and letting him
You've
go
been a
play. Even
big
like 2
Clint
years
Frazier guy.
ago, I said just full send this kid. He's too good of a player not to keep down, regardless of like all the depth we had at outfield.
Yeah.
I think this year's a really big year for Clint Frazier.
I mean, hear me out. Aside from Yelich and Soto, and I could totally be blanking because I'm doing this really quickly. Who's guaranteed better than him in left field? Not a guy that plays a couple other positions.
Here goes Matt.
J.D. Davis if he plays left field.
The left fielder, and he's a terrible left fielder at that. And I don't want to hear because I saw this on Instagram. MLB Network posted their MLB Now like top 10 left fielders. Dom Smith is in that conversation. He's not a left fielder. Dom Smith is a first baseman and a DH. He's not a left fielder, so he can't be in that conversation. He is better than Clint Frazier. I love him as a hitter. Dom Smith is one of my favorite players that is not a Yankee. Great guy on and off the field. So I think if he was a left fielder, he could be in that conversation, but he's not. So aside from Soto and Yelich, like who's locked in left fielder that you could put in that conversation?
I'm trying to think.
You got time.
We have time?
Robert left field?
We got 5 minutes left.
You have guys that can play left field. Like Acuna's played left, but he's not a left fielder.
No. I don't know, Nick. That's a good
Luis Robert?
No,
He's center field.
Oh.
And then you could argue Eloy Jimenez, but
Eloy plays right.
No,
he's
Eli
a
plays
left
left.
fielder. He allowed Christian Yelich's inside the Parker because he fell into the netting. And left
Oh,
field.
that's right.
Yeah, he's a terrible defender, but he has a really good bat.
I can't put Andrew Benintendi in there. There's just not.
No.
That's not possible.
And JD Martinez was, but now he's a DH. So
Yeah.
same with Giancarlo. Now he's a DH full time. So I think
Justin
I pulled this one.
I like that one, Nick. I really
I
did.
pulled it out of thin air when Matt brought up JD Davis. I think Clint Frazier could legitimately be a top 5 left fielder with the Yankees
Kings
or
in New
elsewhere.
York. Kings in New York. Clint Frazier
I'd love
and
to
JD
see
Davis.
it. He would
The
help out the
Okay.
Yankees a lot.
The one thing
Yeah,
I
that's a
will
good one.
say, I think that going to New York can hurt a lot of players. I think it honestly helps Clint Frazier. I'm
And
not
another
kidding.
one.
Just
Luke Voigt.
because. True, yeah, and I just think I think for Clint, like the I don't know, he kind of had like an attitude when he was like in the Cleveland Indians organization. I might be totally wrong.
He's a little cocky.
Yeah, and then going to New York, it really humbled him, and like I think it came through this year where he was like, "Hey, like I don't play every day, but I'm gonna go out there and play the best that I can when my number's called." And I think that was like a big step for him.
Yeah, he definitely
they-
matured. You could see it.
They put him
And,
through a process, and he became like a team player, not a me guy.
Is he Nick? He's like no brainer for left field, right?
It depends what they do with Brett Gardner, but he should be.
What do you mean? You got
I mean-
Mr. Moneybags Hicks in center field. You don't need Brett Gardner anymore.
That's
I mean, Brett Gardner's a lifetime Yankee, so it's either they bring him back or he retires, and he wants to stay. So
They could just switch him and Clint Frazier. Have Clint Frazier start and have Brett Gardner come off the
I
bench.
love Brett Gardner.
that's what they should do. That's what they started to do towards the end, and then Clint got.
I love Brett Gardner, but I think that it's time to give 26-year-old, 25-year-old Clint Frazier a real chance.
26, yeah.
No,
he
give
turns
Brett
27
Gardner
in
2,
September.
3, 4 more years.
No. Give him Gardner at this point is in like year 13. If he stays, I love Brett Gardner, one of my favorite
Let him go 20.
Yankees of all time. But he turns 38 in August. You can't be starting him over a guy who has 4 more years of team control. it would baffle me if
So,
he's
Nick,
the
here's the
starting left
question.
fielder.
Nick,
maybe
here's
he
the
just plays in the-
important question.
Yep.
Has he earned his pinstripes?
I think so.
You talking about Clint?
No. Gardner.
Oh, Brian. Oh, 100%.
Okay, he's a pinstripe guy.
That's
Good
not
for him.
even a question. I mean, he won a World Series. He's been here his whole career. He showed that he's loyal to the team.
Yeah,
I'll mark it down on my list.
He's got his pinstripes.
Gardner's
One of
got
the few. He's
pinstripes.
one of the few on this team right now that has his pinstripes.
Good to know.
and I don't know. Jamie, got anything else?
Me? I don't
Yeah,
know
dude.
if I have anything else. I don't know. I'm just kind of hanging
Alright.
out, chilling. I'm kind of upset about the Red Sox thing still that it got brought up, but we're chilling.
I brought
it had
it
to
up
get brought.
because
It had to
of the
get brought up.
conversation.
It had to get brought up.
All right, boys. I think that's what's gonna do it here. I don't know if that just made sense, but we're gonna close things out.
Riding with it.
This episode will be out not this coming up Friday. We got Mason Black this Friday. Oh, they'll already listen to it, so never mind.
Gosh.
This episode will be out in 2 weeks. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Follow
thanks
Nick
for
and Matt
having
on their Twitters, the writers, guys.
Right.
plug
Oh,
Twitters.
yep.
Wextra innings. And Nick, you're just what?
Wait, I got mine right now. It's Nick __ Santana. NIK. Two
Double
underscores and then Santana.
NIK.
I
Remember
had to.
that.
It was taken. You got to get the NIK.
And Matt is Wextra innings.
Yes, sir.
All right, boys. That'll do it. 2021 is going to be a good year for the War Room.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Off season is going to be exciting.
Yes, sir.
We will see you guys on the next episode. Peace out.
Adios.